Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome. My name is Reece with Premier World Discovery, and we are in partnership with Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Southern California to bring you 5 wonderful trips for 2025. These are some excellent destinations with some great diversity. We'll go over 4 today, and then we'll bring back another video for our Montreal and Quebec City Christmas markets. Let's get in and take a look at the tours. With Premier World Discovery, we are based in Redondo Beach, and we're established in 1999, so over 25 years in business. And we are part of the USTOA, that's the United States Tour Operators Association, and that has a $1 million Travelers Assistance Program. So what that means to you is that we put in a bond of over $5 million as a liability insurance policy. So if for any reason something were to happen to the company, your funds are protected. So that great policy protects your investments, protects your deposits and your final payments in case of anything happening with the company itself. Now we offer over 80 worldwide destinations and have sent over 12,600 travelers out each year to different destinations around the globe. And we look forward to bringing you these great 5 destinations for 2025. We'll start off with Mackinac Island and the Grand Hotel with Niagara Falls. And this tour is 8 days, 7 nights, starting off May 16th of 2025. So this tour flies into Detroit, and we stay 2 nights in Dearborn, Michigan. We'll start off with 2-night stay at the Doubletree by Hilton. We'll then work our way up to Mackinac Island and stay at the beautiful Grand Hotel property. And then a 1-night stay in Frankenmuth before spending 2 nights right near Niagara Falls on the Canadian side. So you will need your passports. Our tour includes 7 breakfasts. So each and every morning breakfast is included at the hotel, and then 4 dinners. And our standard is to do a welcome and a farewell dinner, as well as some cultural experiences throughout the trip. We'll start the following day after flying in with a visit to the Ford factory, and that is the River Rouge Ford plant. And this is where they build F-150 trucks right in front of your eyes. So you do get a chance to see the assembly line and take in all the action. From there, we work our way over to the Henry Ford Museum, and this is just a tremendous collection of automobiles as well as memorabilia from the Industrial Revolution. And that includes the chair where Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. There's a lot of great memorabilia and history involved in this museum. We then work our way to a welcome dinner. We get together with all of your fellow travelers and get to enjoy a great meal and get to know everyone that is traveling on the trip. The following day, we drive north. We make our way up to Mackinac City and board a ferry over to Mackinac Island. And this is a great opportunity to get out of the hustle and bustle of the cities. We board the ferry, we get over to Mackinac, and then we're picked up by horse-drawn carriage, and we're taken up to the beautiful Grand Hotel. This amazing property has tremendous history dating back to the late 1800s and early 1900s, and it's just a beautiful stretch. We'll do a wonderful meal at the Grand Hotel as a dinner. So we get all dressed up. A lot of folks wear their nice dresses and ties, and also incorporate some dancing. Some great views from the dining room itself. And then we'll work our way out on a carriage tour, and you'll get a chance to see the entire island area with all the beautiful homes, the incredible Victorian homes on the bluff, as well as the downtown area right near the hotel. So a lot of great shops, restaurants, and everything in between for your time at leisure. And then the following day, we'll make our way to Frankenmuth, and this is a Bavarian-themed town. So awesome architecture as well as a wonderful Christmas store. So if you're into the decorating for the seasons, this is a wonderful opportunity to take a look around. It's a massive store, about the size of a Costco, and it's a really fun stop. From there, we make our way over to Niagara Falls, and we get to see Niagara on the Canadian side. So please bring your passports. We'll do a wonderful walk along the river, getting to see Niagara with all its power. And then we'll also take a boat right near the falls. So you get to see that mist and wear your poncho. From there, we do a great farewell dinner at the Skyline Tower, and that's the last night of the trip. That's day 7 before we do fly out, and it's got great perspective from there. And this tour is May 16th, 2025, and our regular rate for the tour is $39.75 per person for a double occupancy. And then if you pay your final payment by check, we do reduce your final payment by $100, so that would bring it down to $38.75 per person for a double. Now, if you want your own room as a single traveler, that's an additional $9.50 as the single supplement. And then it's best to book our trips with the web code, and that's shown at the bottom. It's 193359 for this specific tour. And that can be found on our website, premierworlddiscovery.com. And it'll have an option for a web code to plug in, and that is specific to this trip with OLLI. The next trip I'll go over briefly is our culinary journey through Tuscany and Florence, and this one takes off September 23rd of next year. So it's a wonderful program. I've led it myself as a tour director, and it's one of the great trips that we've combined to give you the best perspective of the Tuscany region of Italy. So what's included on this is round-trip airfare from Los Angeles, 7 nights accommodation, so 2 nights in Florence at the end, 5 nights in the Tuscan hills. We incorporate 14 meals, 7 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 4 dinners, a tour director, motor coach transportation, and admissions and sightseeing. Baggage handling is also included at the hotels, so once you bring your luggage out from the airport to the coach, everything's taken care of from then on. This trip starts by flying into the city of Florence, into the airport of Florence, and we'll work our way directly from there out to the Tuscan hillside. So I mentioned those 14 meals included, so all of our breakfasts, and then 3 lunches and 4 dinners. As we work our way out to the Tuscan hillside, we'll get a 5-night stay in a beautiful property. We use about 3 or 4 different hotels in that area, but all are very nice. And on day 2, we enjoy a welcome dinner with all your fellow travelers. The following day, we like to keep it nice and easy because we know those international flights can take a toll. And so we incorporate a cooking class. And this is a great demonstration of amazing foods that the Italians put together. This is a pasta making class, so you get your hands dirty, you get to feel the pasta and work with the dough. And then during that process, we also get to enjoy wines as well as olive oils and great salamis and bruschetta. So it's a wonderful opportunity to learn as well as taste. And then we get to enjoy a wonderful lunch at the end of all of it. It's a beautiful property that we take you to, a family-run business, and it's a fun-filled activity for that day. So it eases you into the Italian life with those great wines. So we are in the Chianti region, which produces wonderful Sangiovese wines, as well as white wines in that area. From there, we visit an olive oil producing farm, and this is where you get to learn about the process of the press. So as they pull the olives from the tree, gather them, and press them into olive oils, the difference in the virgin olive oil. And it's a great tasting opportunity to try different types of olive oil and really get the flavor of these wonderful products. From there, on day 4, we get to work our way over to the beautiful city of Volterra. And this sits up over the hillside looking out over the valleys. And it's amazing medieval architecture. There's also incredible Roman ruins at the base of the town. And so your tour director will point those out to you as well. And then you get some great leisure time to explore town. There's some wonderful museums as well. Grab a gelato or sit back and relax. And then that afternoon, we enjoy a lunch at a family-run farmhouse that produces saffron. And so they incorporate saffron into our meal, as well as producing their own honeys, olive oils, and a number of other great products. So we'll get to enjoy some wine with our lunch and have a great time out there. That afternoon, we'll work our way over to San Gimignano, the town of towers, and originally it had about 16 medieval towers, with many of them being knocked down through the different battles and wars. But it's a beautiful city nonetheless, looking out over the valley with olive groves and vineyards down below it. And we get to take you over to a gelato tasting. So, tremendous variety of flavors of the gelato that's produced here. And these are a gold medal winning gelato maker. So you'll have a chance to go in, grab a gelato for yourself, and enjoy that in the process. And they do actually produce a saffron gelato there. From there, we do a wonderful Tuscan farmhouse dinner for the entire group. So we get to enjoy some more wine and wonderful food from the region. And then day 5 takes us out of the Tuscany region to Umbria. And this is where we get to visit Lake Trasimeno. It's just south of Tuscany. And this is a beautiful stretch, a wonderful day that we get to take you out on a boat, about 30 minutes out to the little island of Isola Maggiore. And this is a wonderful little island. It's funny because Maggiore means large or big in Italian. And this is a very small island, but a beautiful one nonetheless, with a little chapel up on the hillside, and on the backside, a statue of St. Francis of Assisi. We'll do lunch out on the island at a wonderful little restaurant that overlooks the water. And then you'll have some time on your own to explore before we take the boat back. So great meal incorporated here. And then on day 6, it's a day at leisure. And you have the choice of spending time around the hotel, making your own plans, or joining us for an optional tour to Pisa and Lucca. The wonderful Leaning Tower of Pisa, you can get tickets just on the left-hand side there. Or you can join our walking tour, and that takes you over to the baptistry as well as the cathedral and around the area. And then there's also the Campo Santo, which is on the right-hand side, and it's a beautiful monument with all sorts of mosaics that were repaired after the war. One of my favorite aspects is not just the Leaning Tower, but inside the cathedral. It's absolutely gorgeous on the interior. And then we'll work our way over to Lucca. And this is one of my favorite little towns of Italy. It's a medieval walled town, so you can walk or bike around the wall. There are bike rental shops there. We'll do a walking tour of Lucca, and so you'll get to see the main highlights in town. And then we'll work our way out. But great churches as well as architecture throughout town. And it's also famous for a very famous Italian composer. Day 7 takes us over to the city of Siena, and this is where we get to enjoy the story of Il Palio, the famous horse race that takes place there every year. We'll get to tour up towards the cathedral, so you'll get to see the black and white marble that's incorporated and took several centuries to build. And then we'll work our way down into the main square, and that's where the tower is located there. But some great little shops and restaurants, cafes, and gelateria. So it's a wonderful opportunity to tour Siena and learn the history of this beautiful town. We'll work our way over to a state that does a truffle demonstration. And so they have farmers and their dogs that take you out and show you how they discover these beautiful and very rich truffles. So they'll walk you through the process, show you how the dog sniffs it out under the oak trees, and it's a wonderful experience to take in. And then we also incorporate some great tastings of olive oil, truffle butter, bruschetta, salami, and cheeses, along with wines. Day 8 takes us on a great walking tour of one of the most art-rich cities in the entire world. The art, the history, the culture here in Florence is absolutely amazing, and you can get from one end of town to the other very quickly. It's a beautiful walking city. And as we do our walking tour, we'll make our way over to the Accademia. And this is where the statue of David is located in the old Academy of Arts. And along the sides of the main hallway here are the prisoners. This was also a work of Michelangelo depicting breaking free of your bounds. Then in Florence, we'll walk through the city getting over to the cathedral and the main dome of the Duomo. And we'll also see Giotto's bell tower, which is located there on the left. As we continue on, we'll see the baptistry and the gates of paradise. And then make our way over to one of the other main squares, Piazza della Signoria. And this is an outdoor art gallery with amazing statues, a copy of Michelangelo's David. And then from there over to the Ponte Vecchio. This is the old bridge and the only bridge remaining since before World War II. Mussolini walked Hitler across the top of the bridge, and that's known as the Vasari Corridor. It was the connection for the Medici to get from their homes to the churches and back in a safe manner. And that's why Hitler protected that one bridge, and the rest were destroyed during the war. Day 8 is a great farewell dinner to wrap up this wonderful tour. And again, 14 meals included, so it's a great taste of Italy. The main focus is culinary experiences, and we do get to enjoy a lot of variety within that. So this trip takes off September 23rd at a rate of $47.49, and that does include airfare. And then if you do pay your final payment with check, it's reduced by $100, so $46.49 per person. And then that is a single supplement as a single traveler by yourself in your own room at $950. So the web code there is 195634. We also offer a 3-night extension down to Rome on this tour. So 3 nights in Rome. We use a number of different hotel properties in that area. And we incorporate 3 breakfasts along with your tour director, the motor coach transportation. We'll stop along the way in Assisi and do a walking tour of the Cathedral of St. Francis. As well as we arrive in Rome, we'll get a city tour, entrance into the Vatican Museum, and a site of the Sistine Chapel with a local guide through Rome. And admissions are included along with baggage handling and transfers to the airport. So that's a rate of $11.99 per person double and $4.50 as a single supplement to add. Next is our England, Scotland, Wales, Royal Edinburgh military tattoo. And this is a 9-day, 7-night trip. This unique experience takes you to one of the most well-known events in Europe. And we start out with 2 nights in the city of London. So we'll work our way from south to north and stop along the way in Bristol, York, and Edinburgh for additional nights. In London, we utilize 2 hotels, mainly with our groups, and that's the Kensington High Street or Copthorne Terra Kensington. Our next stay in Bristol, we'll use the Leonardo or Doubletree properties. In York, it'll be a Hilton or Doubletree. And finally, staying in Edinburgh at the Mercure or Apex Hotel. And hotels are subject to change. We use a number of them on a regular basis. Then we depart the U.S. on day 1 and arrive day 2, where we include a welcome dinner to get to know your fellow travelers. The following day includes a London city tour with a number of great sites, including Big Ben and the House of Parliament. You'll see Kensington Palace, Trafalgar Square, as well as London Bridge and the Tower of London. And then we also make a stop at Buckingham Palace and do our best to line that up with the changing of the guard, which they only have on certain days that they present. That afternoon is at leisure in London. You can see any of the amazing museums, the London Eye, or just enjoy some fish and chips and a pint at a local pub. We'll leave London on day 4 and head to Stonehenge to see the stone circle with 2 rings. While precise calculations aren't determined, it's estimated that work began around 5,000 years ago on this area. The stone circle dates back from around 2500 BC, with the stones being brought from as far away as Wales. Our next stop is the town of Bath, England, known for the Roman baths, which are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there have been actually hot springs here as far back as 8000 BC. Now, water temperatures reach about 115 degrees, and they say it's unlucky to touch the water at present day. I think it's mostly for the bacteria. And then our stay that evening is in Bristol, which is a historic port city. So great surroundings, fun little towns and shops. Now from Bristol, you'll head out to the country of Wales and the capital of Cardiff. The Cardiff City tour that we include visits the National Museum, and inside the museum is one of Europe's finest art collections that has numerous exhibits including Italian art, Dutch collections from the 15 to 1700s, and Impressionist works. You'll visit Cardiff Castle to see the Norman stronghold founded by William the Conqueror. The original site was actually a Roman fortification from the 1st century, but the entry has its roots in Gothic architecture. The Roman portion was hidden under the areas until 1888 when plans for a new tower unearthed the Roman walls. And the Norman Keep is a 12-sided protective shell built in the early 12th century, replacing the old wooden timber defenses. Day 6 leaves the south of England as we work towards the city of York. We'll make a stop in Stratford upon Avon and start by seeing Anne Hathaway's cottage. I'm not referring to the American actress, but William Shakespeare's wife-to-be. This was her family home, built around 1463. From there, you'll get a chance to see the birthplace of the famous writer William Shakespeare. And his father lived and worked in the home, and William was the third of 8 children born in 1564. Arriving in New York, you'll check in for a one-night stay before its sightseeing excursion as a local guide takes us on a tour of York, and you'll get a chance to see York Minster. You'll see the Shambles, which is a narrow alleyway with shops and cafes and looks similar to its medieval roots. And then that evening, we make our way to the main event, which is the Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo at the base of the Edinburgh Castle. The term tattoo derives from a Dutch phrase, and that's tapto, meaning to turn off the tap. And that was a signal to tavern owners each night to shut down the beer kegs as soldiers would return home. The event celebrates the skills and talent of military bands from around the globe, and the event is about 2 hours, holds nearly 9,000 attendees each night, and there are over 800 performers, and each year has a different theme. This is a once-in-a-lifetime performance to take in, and you'll get all sorts of different musical acts, bagpipes, as well as specific destination music. The next morning, you'll get a chance to see the castle in daylight as we tour the structure with over 3,000 years of history. An immersive exhibit takes you through the Wars of Independence. And it's funny, the Scottish spent centuries trying to keep the English out. Now they charge them to get in. So we'll take you through the Great Hall and a number of different exhibits throughout. On the city tour, you'll see Princes Street, and that's a main thoroughfare, and Shopping Street. It represents the more modern portion of the city. While the Royal Mile is another main street which leads to Edinburgh Castle from Holyrood Palace, and that is the house connecting 2 royal residences. One of the strongest products from Scotland is Scotch whiskey, and we take you to a whiskey tasting to try the specialty of the country. And you'll get a chance to try a number of different styles of Scotch. And then that afternoon is at leisure, so you can see more of what Edinburgh offers at your own pace. And there's so many things to see in this beautiful city. And finally, our farewell dinner on day 8 before flying out on day 9. Again, round-trip airfare is included. This trip takes off August 5th and starts at a rate of $57.25 or $56.25 with that booking discount, final payment by check. Single supplement is $1,700 additional. And a web code for this to book online is 195635. Then last but not least is our historic Savannah and Charleston tour. This one takes off October 24th, 2025, and it is a 7-day, 6-night trip. This one starts by flying into the beautiful city of Charleston and working our way south. And it includes 9 meals. So 6 breakfasts, all of our breakfasts, and 3 dinners. We'll start by doing a welcome to Charleston. We'll get a chance to see the Middleton Place, which is a plantation that was also home to some of the filming of The Patriot. It's a beautiful extended property. From there, we'll tour through the city of Charleston, getting to see the historic district with all of its different components, including the French Quarter. And then we'll work our way through town, making our way out to the beautiful areas of parks, and this is known as Battery Park and the famous Pineapple Fountain, famous for hospitality in the South. We'll enjoy a welcome dinner on day 2 before heading off to the Edmonston Alston House, and this property was built in 1825 by Charles Edmonston. It's one of the oldest homes along the Battery, and it's got a collection of furniture, paintings, silver, and books from the 1800s and before. So it was originally purchased by Charles Alston in 1838, who updated the home to Greek Revival style. And the rooftop railings has the Alston family crest located on it. We'll work our way south to Beaufort, South Carolina, and this is a great opportunity to do a horse-drawn carriage ride through the city with a local guide that tells us all about the region. And it's a wonderful stretch with these beautiful old oak trees. We arrived that afternoon in Savannah, and this is a great opportunity to take a look around the city on our city tour. And it's got a number of sections throughout town. We'll stay right in the city. And within the city planning, there are about 24 parks built into the city design for the public. And this is just one of a number of them. This is Forsyth Park, and it's got beautiful fountains and statues as well. Each of these parks are surrounded by these old oak trees with hanging Spanish moss. So it just provides an incredible setting. It's a beautiful place to visit. We'll take a look at the River Walk. This is one of the main drags through town. And then visit the Mercer Williams House. And this was built in the 1800s and was owned by John Mercer. And there were several tragic stories that took place here, but incredible architecture as well as interior in the home. And so we'll get to tour the museum itself. The owners don't like to talk about the sad history to the property, but they're great, great stories nonetheless. And then within our time in the South, we'll also stop in St. Simon's Island. And this is a chance to see these beautiful white sand beaches. And we'll take you over to Christ Church, which is a beautiful chapel right in the area. We'll get a 2-night stay at the Jekyll Island Club. And this is a home of the rich and famous from the late 1800s. It was originally a hunting club. And this was where the Pulitzers, the Rockefellers, and so many more came down to escape the city and relax. And so our 2-night stay at the resort provides a lot of amenities, great action and activities around it. And on our trolley tour, we'll take a trolley through the island and get a chance to see the different areas. We'll see Faith Chapel. And then we'll also incorporate a great dining room experience for dinner at the Jekyll Island Resort. And this is another big highlight for folks as they absolutely enjoy it. And then from there, we fly out from Jacksonville. Now, this tour departs October 24th and a rate of $37.99 or $36.99 if paid by check for your final. And the single supplement is $1,200. And we'll send out the web code as well. But you can reach us in a number of different ways. Reservations are on a first-come, first-served basis. And we are promoting to groups all around the country. So you must put in your deposit for your place to be locked in. And for domestic tours, the deposit is $400. For international, it's $600. And that can be paid by check, credit card, or any form of payment you'd prefer. Again, putting your deposit down reserves your space, and space is limited. People are booking their travel experiences earlier and earlier, and a lot of these tours are filling up. Final payment will then be due 90 days prior to departure. So please remember that. We'll also send out a reminder. If you choose to add travel protection to the tour, it must be purchased with initial deposit. And there is a pre-departure and post-departure segment to the travel insurance. It's explained in the brochures and the flyers as well. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to our office regarding each step of the process. Our reservations team phone number is 877-953-8687. You can email us at info@premierworlddiscovery.com. And you can also mail your reservation forms to our address in Redondo Beach. That's 1650 South Pacific Coast Highway, Suite 202. And the zip code is 90277. Calling us and making your booking that way is probably the easiest method. Or if you wanted to go online and use any of the web codes that we provided, you can do so as well. But you must fill out your reservation form and send it in for that to be secured with your deposit. So 3 easy ways to book. And with our low-cost travel protection, it does provide a fully refundable option outside of 100 days prior to your tour. The pre-departure segment covers anything up until the day of travel. So if you were to get hurt or if you had a loss of an immediate family member, your trip would be protected under those. There's a cancel for any reason benefit as well, and that transitions funds into a travel credit for you to use at a later time. And then a post-departure segment, which covers you from anything that happens once you take off on your trip. So that includes trip interruption, trip delay, and baggage delay if your baggage was delayed in the airlines, as well as emergency travel assistance services. And that's a 24-hour service, 7 days a week. So it really does provide a great peace of mind. It's our Travel Protection Plan, or TPP. And you can check out the full policy details on our website at premierworlddiscovery.com/TPP. As a friendly reminder, as of May 7th of next year, they're intending to implement the Real ID. So make sure for domestic travel, you have that all squared away and you get your ID updated as a Real ID by next May. We really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. We are in great partnership with OLLI, with the different communities around Southern California and around the country. We work with OLLI all around the US. So please reach out to your group leader, let them know you're interested in this trip, and sign up today as space is limited. We thank you very much and look forward to having you travel with us.